The Gold Rush Ghost Ship, and the Man Who Knew Too Much. It was the most audacious lie ever told in the service of a brutal truth. And it started, as all great American fortunes do, with a rumor whispered in a San Francisco saloon, smelling of stale whiskey, ambition, and rain-soaked earth. The year was 1857. The United States was a nation of fire and steam, tearing itself apart over the moral stain of slavery, even as its gaze was fixed west, to the blinding, irresistible yellow sheen of California gold. The great global artery of wealth flowed not through Washington or New York, but across the fevered isthmus of Panama and aboard the opulent yet terrifyingly vulnerable paddle-wheel steamships of the Pacific Mail Steamship Company. This story is not about the gold, though over $400 million in modern currency rode on its outcome. It is not even strictly about the doomed ship, the SS Central America, a vessel so perfectly suited to its age that it was known simply as the Ship of Gold. This is the story of a man, Captain William Lewis Herndon, a Virginian gentleman, a decorated naval officer, and an accidental explorer of the Amazon. He was a man of precise angles, iron discipline, and a deep, almost fatalistic sense of duty. And on the morning of August 20th, 1857, as he watched Chapter 1, The Cargo of Anxiety. The Central America was a technological marvel, an aesthetic contradiction. Her massive twin paddle wheels, each nearly the size of a modern SUV, churned through the warm Caribbean water with a thunderous efficiency. She was a fast ship, able to make the run from Panama to New York with a crucial coaling stop in Havana, Cuba, in a little over 2 weeks. But below her elegant painted decks, life was a microcosm of 19th century America, strictly divided, fiercely ambitious, and deeply unequal. The 101 first-class passengers were a gallery of American success. California senators returning east, triumphant merchants, and most numerous, the gold barons, men who had literally struck it rich, carrying their wealth not in paper, but in heavy, shimmering leather satchels. One such passenger was Colonel Oliver P. Hersey, a man whose face was a study in avarice and relief. He carried not only his own personal fortune, but was the custodian of 200 bars of pure gold consigned to the Philadelphia Mint. In the sun-drenched, crowded second- and third-class decks, the miners and pioneer families huddled. These were the true heart of the gold rush, men in rough wool and leather, their hands scarred, their eyes holding the exhausted joy of those who had survived the diggings and were now taking their small fortunes home to buy farms, open shops, or simply reunite with families they had not seen in years. These men carried the aggregate, the hundreds of thousands of dollars in gold dust, nuggets, and small coins that represented the true dispersal of California wealth, a total of $1,600,000 in value, which by 2024 standards is an extraordinary sum approaching $250 million, was physically distributed among the passengers and stored in the ship's vault. Captain Herndon, in his crisp white uniform, stood on the bridge, the smell of coal smoke and salt heavy in the air. His anxiety was focused on a single geological fact, the Bermuda Triangle. Not the modern mythical zone of vanishing plains, but the historical path through the notorious Bahamas Channel, where the Gulf Stream met the treacherous, shifting weather systems of the North Atlantic. He reviewed the weather log, a habit ingrained from decades of naval service. The skies were clear, the sea a calm, deep sapphire. Yet the pressure readings were unsettlingly steady, almost too steady, hinting at a vast static atmospheric disturbance lurking unseen far to the east. Herndon dismissed it, not out of hubris, but out of necessity. He was on a timetable. The New York banks were on the brink.
On September 3rd, the ship made its brief stop in Havana. It was here, in the sultry heat of Cuba, that the first verifiable warning arrived. A local captain, an old sea dog named Perez, spoke to Herndon's first officer, Lieutenant William Ashby, reporting an unusual violent sea state south of the main shipping lanes. Ashby, a younger man confident in the power of the steam engine, logged the warning but dismissed its significance.